He did it again. He's made another Modcast.
Mod is a generic term for the modern young man.
You were just a little mod. Just a little mod.
She's a mod, she's a mod, she's a mod, yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't give a monkey's assholes about mods and rockers.
All I really want is me a mod boy with his own unique style.
Are you a mod or a rocker?
No, I'm a mocker.
Me one of us come on to getting underway. It's taking all night and into the day. Mods are back again. Mods are back again. Mods are back again.
Whether you approve or disapprove, they are real. And they're happening now in the mod world all around you.
You're listening to Mr. Suave's Mod World at MrSuave.com.
Doesn't anyone want to accomplish anything, or do we just want to make money?
Make money. Make a lot of money.
Break down.
You're listening to Mr. Suave's Mod World at MrSuave.com.
A man who's seen it all, but has understood very little of it. Mr. Suave.
Here we go, kids, with Modcast number 565, The Dog Days of Summer. Mr. Suave here with you, and it is indeed the days of the Dog Star, the rising of Sirius each summer, heralded by the hottest weather ever of the year, I guess. As far back as the ancient Romans, it seems, as they coined the phrase. And if this summer isn't a hot dog, I don't know what is. When it gets like this, the only thing to keep you cool is, cool music, right? And as usual, the Modcast is chock full of cool new music this time around, and a few older hits just to keep things interesting. I took the month of July off while recovering from my hip replacement back in June. You think that having a whole month, I would have had time to pound out, a whole bunch of modcasts. And it's not as if there wasn't a lot of great new music rumbling up over the recent weeks and months. Still, I've just been sort of lazing around as I get back on my feet, literally. Taking it easy, enjoying life, sort of. But I think I'm rested, ready, and roaring to go. I'm in it now, and I am wading through all sorts of cool music that I can't wait to share with you. One of those was this song I kicked off the show with, a brand new track from The Rifles. That was Money Go Round off of their very excellent new album, Love Your Neighbor, just out from Cooking Vinyl Records. Gotta love The Rifles, man. They describe themselves as an indie rock band, but in my mind, this is definitely one of the most mod-friendly of modern guitar-driven bands. I've been loving their sound since that first album of theirs came out way back there at the beginning of the 21st century. And here we are years and years later, and I am really digging the new album, which I highly recommend you get right away if you haven't already. Many more mod-friendly sounds coming your way in a moment. As always, you can find the full track list for the Modcast over at MrSuave.com, along with links to bands and videos and more cool stuff. Okay. Let's get back to listening. Here we go with Laughing, right here on Mr. Suave's Mod World.
Will she ever be a friend of mine? See her at the party as she turns her head away. So I drank some more. I say something when I haven't got a thing to say. Eyes on the concrete, slipping through the cracks. Once we started something, then we turned our backs. Will she ever be a friend of mine?
hitched a ride to a star above right town. Then Jeremy across the pond came across our Cassie song. Turns out our story wasn't quite done. We're back in the band. Hey, we may be older, but that don't matter. We can still have fun. 40 years have gone. Our chance has finally come when we can sing our song. Everyone sing along. We're back in the band. We're back in the band. Oh yeah, 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 back in the
We always knew we wanted to keep it to ourselves. But pretty soon that precious tune was playing to someone else. I keep our heads above the water, but the tide is rushing in. I hear the sound of shifting ground from where it might be. Trying to keep it buttoned down until we could find the light. But we didn't know the midnight show was already out of sight. A word is getting round, a motor mouth is back in town. From a secret to a shout, motor mouthers let it out. All we ever wanted was to find a way to shine. Before we knew, a wrecking crew was blowing down the line. Had to run for cover as the clouds were rolling by. I feel the sands running through our hands. The prize was in our eye. Trying to keep it buttoned down until we could find the light. But we didn't know the midnight show was already out of sight. Nowhere left to hide, motor mouth is open wide. From a whisper to a shout, motor mouth is blurted out. When I listen, what you have to say, I can never work it out. I think I could wait another day, but mouth almighty, just as once shut your mouth. Is back in town. From a secret to a shout, motor mouthers let it out. Nowhere left to hide, the motor mouth is open wide. From a whisper to a shout, motor mouth is blurted out. A word is getting round, a motor mouth is back in town. From a secret to a shout, motor mouthers let it out.
Got a trig midterm tomorrow and I'm being chased by Guido, the killer pimp.
I can't believe that I was a part of it. But we all were the cause of it. like everyone else. But we are a cheering crowd, and New York City's cavalry, allowing all to exist. Thinking smiles before be strangers on morning, morning. Morning, morning. Watch for colored candy and painted horses. Pray for sun and dandelions. Look for little eyes hoping for a clear rain. Follow night our tears, then boy dear rain. The boy dear rain. The boy dear rain. The boy dear rain. A morning, morning, morning. A morning, morning. I can't believe that I was the cause of it. Cannot conceive of taking a life, but we lose the life we did. When inside ourselves we hid, asking now instead being stored all alone. Ask her now, she says it's not right, that there's wrong. On morning, morning. Morning, morning. I can't believe that I was a part.
Eu digo que quero vê-la e ela apenas ri. Será que é besteira? Será que já me perdi? Ela é tão interessante, generosa e tão doce. Faz com que em um instante eu só pense no se fosse. Ela faz eu me sentir tão especial, sendo que eu só reflito quão maravilhosa ela é. Ela faz eu me sentir tão especial, sendo que eu só reflito quão maravilhosa ela é. Procuro explicação e nem quero entender, mas que grata conexão foi instantânea ao a conhecer. Eu falo a língua dela e ela fala exatamente a minha. Fez valer toda a espera, a esperança que eu tinha. Ela faz eu me sentir tão especial, sendo que eu só reflito quão maravilhosa ela é. Ela faz eu me sentir tão especial, sendo que eu só reflito quão maravilhosa ela é. star. He's not the one you won't love. You're not the only one who's taking for a ride. He's out on the town tonight. You sit home and cry. You're not the only one who's taking for a ride. He's out on the town tonight. You sit home and cry. He's not the one you won't love, so tell him that you had enough. I'm waiting by the phone and spending every night alone. He's not the one you won't love. He's not the one you want to 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 love. He's not the one you want to
I heard a fan offer free Dippin' Dots if I blew it, which the price of Dippin' Dots with inflation is just unreal. So for a brief moment, I was like, damn, Dippin' Dots sound good.
Alrighty, that was the great contemporary garage rocker Muckin' the Myers with He's Not the One, released at the height of the pandemic lockdowns back in 2020. And just before that, you heard Uni Boys, Los Angeles' power pop quartet with Hiding in My Home. It's their ode to spending time at home alone in the Altogether. The music is as tight as the song is clever. Comes from their fourth full-length release, Buy This Now, out last year. And just before that, something from Brazilian mods that targets some of the sharpest-looking fellows on the scene, that's for sure. That was their latest single, Soulmate, which, being in Portuguese, means I don't really have a clue what they're singing about. But with its jangly guitars and mod revival vibe, I'm digging it. Just ahead of them, another one with a serious mod revival vibe. That's because it really was a mod revival. That was Washington, D.C.'s The Reply with Apology. Like so many band stories from back in that era, they recorded some singles and EPs in the mid-'80s and eventually sat down, maybe stood up, I don't know. They recorded a full album's worth of material that never saw the light of day because, you know, the same story that you've heard so many times. The label went bankrupt. Finally, though, now it has seen the light of day. What an album! The packaging is very cool. Double album with pictures and liner notes, and the vinyl is white with Target labels. The tracks just sound like the mod revival through and through. That track you heard was Apology, which is part of the final album collection, never released until 2019. That's from The Reply, the complete collection. And I got a link on the Modcast homepage so you can check out more about the band. Just before that, you heard the Ruby Tears, a UK band that came together, as so many did, during the pandemic. Since then, they've pumped out a couple albums worth of original music with promises of more to come, which sounds good to my ears thanks to their 60s garage, 70s rock, and 80s new wave type influences. I played their latest single, Motormouth, from the Ruby Tears. And just before that, a band that was doing the influencing back in the 80s, Cassie, now going by the moniker Cassie23. Not sure why that happened. Maybe it's a 2023 reference. I don't know. But I am sure about the power poppy new wave sound. Apparently, Reminder Records was pretty sure too when they stumbled across the band's old recordings, offered to re-release that stuff. That re-released album inevitably led to a reunion and a whole new record from Cassie 23. That was their brand new single, Back in the Band. If you're curious about them, I've got a link up to some of their original works so you can check that out. Of course, as always, up at MrSuave.com. Finally, way up top of that set, that was Montreal's Laughing with Will She Ever Be a Friend of Mine, off of their debut album out earlier this year from Celluloid Lunch Records. Very enjoyable listen. Their indie sound can be traced down a crooked line of the echoes of their influences, from the Monkees to Teenage Fan Club to New Pornographers. The echoes of all that there, and the whole album's just really done up right. Okay, are you hot? Are you sweating? Is it sweltering where you are? Probably. You can always cool off with a Modcast or two. Over 500 of them to choose from at MrSuave.com. And as usual, got the full playlist up there for this week's show and all the rest, along with links to the bands and other cool sites and all that sort of good stuff. MrSuave.com. Don't forget to spell out the Mr. Okay, moving right along. Let's see. Gin, check. Tonic, check. Kick-ass music, check, check, check.
Time ago, and that was imminently, and it spun out of control. Cyclically
You're one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen.
Thank you. But I think my mouth is too big.
No, it's the right size. For me, that is.
You've been looking for some time, trying to find the thing you call the perfect guy. At least that's how you say that he'd be described. And you say you found him now, I can tell he's not gonna treat you well. I don't think he'll be calling you the one. Yeah, you say you're so in love, he's the one you're thinking of. You try to do your part, he just breaks your heart, and then you're gonna say, baby take me back, baby take me back, I know we're on the wrong track. And if that's the way it is, I don't wanna be in love. But you say he's changed this time, he's acting kind, that is how you justify. Keep telling yourself that it's gonna end up alright. But once again he's changed his mind, you left behind. That's not how I define this thing that you've been calling true love. Yeah, you say I'm so in love, he's the one you're thinking of. You try to do your part, he just breaks your heart, and then you're gonna say, baby take me back, baby take me back, I know we're on the wrong track. And if that's the way it is, I don't wanna be in love. It's been going on for a while, I know this ain't cause you never smile. And if I had my chance with you, I know I'd be true to you. Yeah. Baby take me back, baby take me back, I know we're on the wrong track. And if that's the way it is, I don't wanna be in love. Baby take me back, baby take me back, I know we're on the wrong track. And if that's the way it is, I don't wanna be in love. You've been looking for some time, trying to find the thing you call the perfect guy. At least that's how you say that he'd be described.
Whatever it takes, so now you say goodbye. Oh, whoa, 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 to the role you play till you run out of time. Whoa, whoa, now you're the winner of a gold box full of medals. But you know you've got what it takes, so plastic bullets, plastic bullets. Have you
I waited. And the first guy was not special. You know, he was just the first guy to have like a really good argument for why we should. You know, because I was like, I don't think I'm ready. And he was like, come on.
Welcome back to the Modcast. The show is in full swing, even as we all swelter in the summer heat during these dog days of summer. This is how it ends, I guess, with power pop and northern soul-infused garage rock and pure punk rock ethos. But what a way to go, right? That last one was veteran garage Italian rockers, the Pee-wees. That's one of the new singles from their upcoming album. That track was Plastic Bullets, and it's a precursor to the band's next album, One Ride, coming out this fall. So defs want to keep an eye out and an ear out for that, right? Ahead of that, I jumped back in time to just after the turn of the century for the Mallrats, Baby Take Me Back. That comes off of the Sacramento band's only album, Fall in Love All Over Again with. Man, was that album just the shit or what? The only one they ever did as far as I know, but what a great piece of power pop. Look that up, the Mallrats. And then just ahead of that, I included a couple of my favorite bands. I was the Airport 77s with Honey Don't, and before them, the Len Price 3 doing Ready to Cry. Two that should be staples in your stables. And right before them was Joe Jennings' MVPs. Joe Jennings being the JJ from Garage Vet's JJ and the Real Jerks. That is their latest single, doing Time on the Company Dime. It will be on the up-and-coming full-length release, Nothing Wrong with Giving Up, coming from Rumbar Records in the fall. So keep an eye out for that from Joe Jennings' MVPs. And starting that set out was Washington, D.C.'s Bad Moves. Bad Moves mixing a refreshing pop sensibility with a kind of a hard guitar-driven punkiness. And, you know, eschewing the normal power pop tropes and stuff like unrequited love and girls in cars and some of that. Anyhow, they kind of ditch all that for some sizzling social commentary. That track was Hallelujah, which will be on their forthcoming album due out in the fall from Don Giovanni Records. I, for one, am fully on board for that. So, the dog days of summer, they will wind down soon. But the good news, the good music will just keep on trucking. And you should keep on trucking. Truck right over to the Modcast homepage, MrSuave.com. Of course, where you will find the full track list, links to bands, the bonus third set of songs, some cool videos, and of course, the Modcast back catalog. You know, just looking for something to surprise your ears with, head right over 500 shows to choose from. And finally, yet another great song to take you out on a high note. This one is from a band that's been doing the deed for nearly 50 years, but sadly, sounds like they are calling it quits. At least that's what it sounds like from the group is claiming that they're coming up on their very last tour ever, and that they have just put out their very last album ever. Brand new album, released to celebrate that, I guess. I don't know if there's a celebration for when a great band calls it quits. Nothing says we're over like new music though, yeah, right? We shall see. It would be sad to say the least because over the years this band has given us so much. This song is appropriately titled Sweet Till the Bitter End. And boy, have they been sweet. One of the truly legendary rock and roll outfits of all time. Longtime punk rockers X. They may be going, but they'll never be forgotten. Here's X with Sweet Till the Bitter End. from their brand new album, Smokin' Fiction. I'm Mr. Suave. Thanks for listening.